It's safe to say that the Golden State Warriors were far from their best this past season. After winning the 2021-22 NBA season, they had a pretty average 2022-23 season. Many thought that the Steph, Clay, Dre supremacy era had finished and that they wouldn't win any more championships. But this year, things are looking different. Hello and welcome back to NBA Swish. Today we're going to be talking about how the Golden State Warriors are sending the NBA a message this season, that they are finally back to their winning ways. I know what you must be wondering, how are they actually going to do that? What changes have they implemented which has enabled them to send this message? Well, stick around till the end as we answer these questions and more, as we delve into the various intricacies surrounding the reborn Golden State Warriors. So now without further ado, let's get into it. They say that the preseason is not an actual representation of how your team will perform in the actual season when it matters most. And of course, this makes sense, as preseason games are just like warm-up games. There is no pressure, and teams are generally trying out their reserve players in new tactics just to experiment. And while that is true, it also gives us a smaller trailer as to what we can expect from their team in the season. And when it comes to the Warriors, boy oh boy did they send a clear message. They are here for one thing and one thing only: to win a championship yet again. Before I go any further, however, let me highlight the key changes the Warriors have made to their squad so that you have a rough idea beforehand as to what led them to changing so much after a lackluster 2022-23 season. Well, the main change is that Jordan Poole was sent to the Wizards in a three-way trade that allowed Chris Paul to come to the Warriors from the Suns. Initially, a lot of people wrote the Warriors off, as this trade puts them at a disadvantage. Jordan Poole was an amazing player, and the fact that he was so young only meant that he was just going to get better every season. He was so good that he was named the third Splash Brother. Replacing him with an old-timer like Chris Paul seemed like the wrong move to many people. It's no wonder that plenty of people thought they were going to be even worse this year compared to last. And that is what brings us to their message. Just looking at their preseason games will give us an idea of what we can expect from the Warriors going into the regular season. Let us take the preseason game against the Sacramento Kings as an example. Initially, it looked like it was going to be a loss, as the Warriors did not have key players like Thompson, Green, and Looney. So it didn't matter if they were going to lose, as they were only playing their bench mainly. Yet their youngsters and reserves still managed to pull off an incredible comeback. And that wasn't even the best part. What's most intriguing is the dynamic duo of Steph Curry and Chris Paul that led this resurgence. From the get-go, Steph and CP3 showed immediate chemistry. It almost seemed like they'd been playing together for ages. This was demonstrated by the fact that they combined for 43 points and 14 assists, shooting an impressive 14 of 24 from the field, with 11 of 15 from beyond the arc. Now that is insane. This wasn't just because the fact of both of them being quality players either. Having CP3 on this team allowed Steph to focus more on getting into space and shooting, rather than playmaking. And speaking of which, we all know how CP3 has an amazing eye for the pass. That's why their partnership complemented each other and has been so profitable right from the get-go. Basically, the benefit of having an additional ball handler and shot creator like Chris Paul alongside Steph Curry is unbelievable. It eases the pressure on Steph and opens up numerous possibilities for the offense. And that isn't all, because they've also proven to be clutch, as the Warriors turned an 18-point deficit into a thrilling victory. But I don't want you all to think that CP3's main contribution was to partner well with Steph. On his own, he showed that age is just a number and came up with a number of moves that made you go, wow. He had an immediate impact. It wasn't like he needed time to adjust to a new team. This was demonstrated by the fact that when he entered the court, the Warriors were trailing 100-91 with just over 5 minutes remaining. But CP3's presence alone ignited a remarkable turnaround, with the team scoring 25 points in the next 5.5 minutes, outscoring the Kings by 10. It just goes to show you what an experienced leader can do for any team. And that's not all, because while everyone was busy talking about the Steph CP3 partnership, many overlooked the undeniable partnership between Paul and Dario Saric, who's also a new recruit this year. Saric is an excellent recruit because, for starters, he gives the Warriors some much-needed height and physicality, which they previously struggled with because they only had one experienced option in Looney. And he offers much more than Looney, as he's a capable playmaker who can drop incredible passes. His ability to read the game and make the right decisions will benefit players like Kuminga, Vanya, Moody, and GP2. Now, with Saric's extensive experience, they can crack defenses that rely on big players. And that isn't it, because we all know how CP3 is a pick-and-roll master. Just give him a player who can continuously give him screens to roll on and just watch him absolutely dominate. And the best thing is that Saric does that perfectly. It is almost impossible to stop him. It's the perfect scenario, right? The Warriors seem to have found a blueprint for dominating opposing benches, thanks to the pick-and-roll partnership between the two new recruits. Their chemistry is set to be a game changer, especially against other teams' second units. Another thing we noticed is how much better the squad looks as a unit. It's not like they've really changed that much, but it seems like they've been working hard this offseason because almost everyone looks much better. With the game against the Kings, the Warriors showcased something significant: the ability to perform effectively even when Steph is on the bench. We all know how Steph has bailed them out countless times in recent years. Even while Clay and Dre seem to have dropped their games, Steph continues to play at the same godly level. But now, since everyone has improved so much, the team no longer looks like a G League squad in his absence. This could be a game changer, and Steve Kerr's decision to encourage CP3 to play his game is a key reason behind this transformation. And from the looks of it, it looks like the perfect decision. Another standout during this preseason was rookie Trayce Jackson-Davis. He held his own against the All-NBA big man Domantas Sabonis, who we all know was one of the best players in the league last season. And he didn't just compete against him, he limited him to 4 of 10 shooting and just 12 points. Now that is just amazing from someone who still hasn't had a proper NBA experience. This performance proves that sometimes a ready-made NBA player like Trayce can outshine experienced opponents. And that is not all. His value isn't limited to defense. In the game against the Kings, he also showcased his scoring ability, using his size and athleticism to excel in the pick and roll and finish plays with finesse. I am telling you, the future looks bright for this rookie. I am sure this year he's going to get a ton more minutes, given his improvement. And when all is said and done, we can't overlook the fact that Steph Curry is still, well, Steph Curry. Even if the rest of the Warriors aren't playing well, you can always rely on Curry to bail you out. His incredible plays, such as the buzzer-beating three-pointer and his wizardry off the dribble, make every game feel like a playoff matchup. And while it is somewhat true that he doesn't necessarily need his teammates to win matches, you don't win titles alone. And with the revamped roster, it seems he'll have even more support this season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.